We continue our story with Team Prime facing off against Megatron, amped by Unicron, and Lockdown, both of them in their Nutrium bodies. And before the team could really decide on how they want to engage, more Unicron antibodies show up. And so this kind of puts the team in a situation. Knowing good and well two powerful Decepticons are in front of them, this is where Bulkhead's like, come on. We just killed a bunch of them. Oh, crap, what do we do? To which Grimlock simply looks around and looks at Optimus. And Optimus gives him a nod. So Grimlock then turns to RC. You got our backs? And RC, ever so cheekily, simply states, yeah, anytime. We'll handle the antibodies if you can handle those two. To which Team Prime basically engages the antibodies, Bumblebee, Bulkhead, and RC engage the antibodies, while Optimus and Grimlock stare down Megatron, with Optimus saying, ready, old friend? To which Grimlock is like, yeah, I'll take Megatron, but then I'll get my payback on Lockdown later. And so the two rush at the Decepticons, and well, they both begin. This is how the battle starts off. Optimus leaps on Grimlock's back as he transforms into his T-Rex form. Both of the Decepticons are kind of caught off guard by this, but this allows Grimlock to stop midway and buckshot Optimus, and he basically goes in with a flying punch into Lockdown's face, as Grimlock then goes into a charge and rams Megatron back. Both of them kind of hitting the area that, I guess you could say the chamber to Unicron's spark is. And so they both go back and forth. Grimlock makes sure he keeps Megatron as close as possible. While Megatron is, upgraded, he excelled at the long range, which means Grimlock now understands he has to keep him close. He has to make sure that he keeps Megatron, I guess you could say, within his grab range, whether it be his robot form or his beast form. Meanwhile, Optimus and Lockdown are actually going at it a bit differently. Lockdown, realizing his mistake, was overestimating Optimus. Don't know why, but again, I guess that's what he got for last time. He got slammed through the floor of the warship. So Lockdown actually starts utilizing his hook and his gear much more intelligently, if you will. He tries to use a net and Optimus cuts it. This is where he leg sweeps. Optimus jumps over it and tries to slam him, the same way again. But Lockdown reacts and actually shoots his hook into Optimus's side, anchoring him and then flinging him into the wall. And so he's about to fling Optimus over the edge, but this is where Grimlock grabs the Lockdown by his leg, and this causes him to pull the hook off of Optimus, painfully, mind you, because, that hook was kind of in him, and he smacks Lockdown right into Megatron, kind of like, how Kong smacked, how Kong used Suko to smack Scar King's other soldiers. And so Grimlock simply tells Optimus, go. He's got it. Go ahead and stop Unicron. To which Optimus says he doesn't know how to get in. So Grimlock tosses him the Dark Star Saber. Optimus grabs it and it hurts, like agonizingly. Keep in mind, this did hurt Grimlock too as well, so there is no difference. I think it will probably affect Optimus more because he has more of Primus's essence. But Optimus is able to push through and use the Dark Star Saber to open Unicron's chamber. Meanwhile, Grimlock is taking on both Lockdown and Megatron and actually doing pretty well here. Lockdown does use one of his cannons tries to shoot Grimlock in the face, but Grimlock dodges it and then parries one of Lockdown's hooks straight into Megatron's chest. Keep in mind, it's Unutrium on Unutrium, so this does pierce through Megatron's chest, but because he's powered by Dark Energon, this ultimately doesn't kill him. But it keeps them close to and pretty much dysfunctional to where Grimlock is able to wail on him. However, he sees something on Lockdown that he didn't see before. A control device. And as he's pretty much pummeling them, he makes sure not to destroy it. No. This is where Grimlock turns into his T-Rex form and chumps down on Lockdown, who is still attached to Megatron, and flings both of them around. So it's kind of funny, as he's like flinging like Lockdown mid-air, it kind of just pulls Megatron towards him. So he tail whips Megatron and kind of just uses it as like a paddleball maneuver, where he just smacks them both over and over again against each other. To which Megatron's like, someone please stop this. Detach your hook, Lockdown. But that's detach it now. And so Lockdown has to take out his chainsaw and cut his own hook arm off, or cut his own hook off. So Lockdown loses his weapon temporarily. However, Grimlock, seeing an opportunity, still grabs the chain that is on Megatron and pulls Megatron towards him and straight up punches him straight into the chamber where Optimus is. Now that was a mistake, but again, it felt good. And so as Grimlock runs towards Megatron, Lockdown tries to pounce on his back, but Grimlock, seeing this, transforms, making Lockdown leap over him, and then he chomps down on Lockdown. And this time, it's merciless. He wants him dead, and he keeps crushing him, and crushing him slowly. Like, he's got him by the shoulder. That's where he's got him. So his whole jaw is kind of like, I guess you could say, diagonally across Lockdown's body. And keep in mind, he's still strong enough to essentially crush him. Pierce him? No, not fully. But he can crush him. And so Lockdown, utilizing this opportunity, actually utilizes an EMP generator, or a stasis cannon, if you will. Now again, you might say, wait, why am I giving him all these gadgets? Because again, I kind of want him to be more like his Transformers animated counterpart, but with his Age of Extinction mentality, if you get what I mean. Keep in mind, that Lockdown in Transformers animated was just stacked with gadgets. And believe it or not, I did like the fact that he did have Ratchet's EMP generator. So we're going to give him that here. But it's going to be like a sort of stasis cannon, if you will, where it's able to like induce a temporary state of stasis within a bot. But again, Grimlock's upgraded. He's stronger. And that synthetic energon in his system makes it very hard for him to like get tired, especially if he's going. It's like adrenaline given a Kaioken times 10 boost. You ain't going down no time soon. But this actually does get, Lockdown out of Grimlock's grasp. But he's on the floor, injured, and somewhat paralyzed for a moment, if you will. However, this is where he sees Megatron making his way towards Optimus with a Dark Energon cannon. So Grimlock has very little choices here and actually jumps in front of the Dark Energon blast, taking the full hit for Optimus. And it hurts. It hurts, even cracking his chest a little bit. But again, he pushes through, taking blast after blast after blast, with Megatron like, why won't you fall? To which Grimlock simply states, he let one group of friends down before, and he's not doing it here again. And this is where he actually grabs Megatron's arms with that same cannon and just simply, I guess you could say, almost holds him there for a moment before, with every amount of strength, punches him through the crack in his chest and pretty much tears the Dark Energon out of him, leaving Megatron momentarily lifeless. And so this means Optimus is now able to fully get off the Matrix itself, while Grimlock, succumbing to the damage, finally collapses. But keep in mind, this does not kill Megatron. No. In fact, with the fact that Unicron's whole thing is over with, he actually gets back up. And he's like, ugh, what? I'm alive? I'm restored? And so Lockdown walks over to him. You good, boss? To which, this is where Megatron sees that he's in his old body. Yeah, but he notes that he feels better, stronger, faster, and more powerful, as if this was Unicron's own blessing, if you will. However, this is where he hears a roar, and he is hurled into the air by a metallic Tyrannosaurus and hit with the neck crusher maneuver. Grimlock's back up, and he's, fighting a lot more fiercely than before, realizing that, hey, Optimus is down, and, he kind of just woke up and everything. So he goes to swing it, smacking his tail into both Megatron and Lockdown and performing Dinosaur King 2.0 maneuvers here. He then grabs Lockdown and slams him into the ground the same way Hulk did to Loki. And he does it over and over and over again. But just as he turns, Megatron fires his new railgun cannon. And, well, this knocks Grimlock into the wall leaving him unconscious. But this is where he hears Optimus get up. And well, while he is in his new body, he does recognize his old friend. And Megatron helps up Lockdown. And well, asks Orion Pax if he's okay. And this is where the rest of the Autobots come in, with RC immediately checking in on Grimlock, and Bulkhead is the one in this timeline to ask, wait, what did you do to him? Wait a minute, is that Megatron? To which this is where Megatron simply states, let's go, old friend. We have much work to do to rebuild Cybertron and defeat the Autobots once and for all. And so they leave, with the Autobots going back to base leaderless, and with Grimlock needing to get on the repair table again, and Lifeline smacks him upside the head because, again, she just fixed this dude up in another short span of time. And this is where Megatron does this whole manipulation thing. Convinces Orion, but it's much more convincing than before, considering the fact that he can show footage of how terrifying Grimlock is. But again, Orion is still kind of wary of everything and just hopes that maybe, just maybe, everything would be fine. So Orion goes and does his Iacon duties like he does in the original. And this where Arachnid, or should I say, Commander Arachnid, simply ask what is the best thing they could do to make sure he doesn't rebel. And this is where Shockwave simply states, oh yeah, I forgot, he was still here, y'all, that maybe they could use their more beastly soldiers for a bodyguard. And this is where Lockdown says, good idea. I'll just use my... What? No, it should be here. To which Megatron simply states, what's wrong? My control device, my frequency, it's gone. I can't control those beasts down there. Or at least, in the same kennel that Predaking was in. And this is where Megatron simply grits his teeth, and he now understands what Grimlock was actually doing. He got the device. He got the very thing that can free his friends. And now, this is a ticking time bomb. Now, Megatron does think about executing them, but also thinks they can be used as ransom, just in case it gets that far. And so, this is where we actually get back to Autobot Hangar E, with Nightbeat pretty much fully, kind of coming into his whole second in command arc here, understanding that they have to get the key to Vector Sigma in order to get back Optimus. However, Agent Fowler comes on the comms, and keep in mind, this is a bit of a change to the story, and I hope you guys like it. And this is where Nightbeat simply asks, what's the problem? And so Agent Fowler shows the footage like in the original, but RC is like, no way. She's alive, and who are the other three with her? And so this is where we actually see 3 Decepticons against 4 Autobots. That being Scourge, Nightbird, and Battletech versus Windblade. But she also has her students, Mira, Rummy, and Zoe. And that's what's going to leave it off here, you guys. Now you might say, no Wheeljack? Oh, don't worry. He's in orbit. See, we would end off on the moon, where Wheeljack and Seaspray are confronting the Constructicons. And that's what's going to leave it off here, folks. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share it with your friends, and get ready for a whole lot of chaos for the next chapter, as the relic hunt and the fight to get back Optimus will be going in back and back with Project Predacon.